heater, the hoses. This hose right here is too cool, and that one's not very warm. I don't know if I got a plug heater core or what. Well, it was warm yesterday, so I got the garage doors open and ran this. First time since, I think it was delivered, I don't know, was that back November? Anyway, hooked up an auxiliary fuel tank, and I had it running for quite a while. I noticed the heater was not getting any sort of hot air through it. So if you're a good little mechanic, you go to your 1962 service manual and you look up the heater, which is in the accessories section, and there you find heater hose routings. But that is not for an air-conditioned car. You won't find the heater hose routing for an air-conditioned car in the 62 manual. Well, being the good little mechanic, you get out your 64 service manual. And guess what? Accessory sections, page 18, accessories, heater. Now you get a blow up, but still, that's not air conditioned. So, same page, top corner, there you are. And that will give you the routing. This hose is the feed hose. This is supplying hot water from the engine, from the water pump. And it should be on the rearward connection down here. And it is. This hose is the return, and it should go to the front connection on the water pump. And it does. So, at least we know we have our hose routing right. Another thing to check. This comes from the water valve and goes down, and that's the heater feed. If you get this hose on here, you know, that's wrong. And why you care is at speed, that will force the heater needle valve to close. So if you have a car and you're got the heater on and you're taking it up to 40, 50, 60, and you notice the heater goes away, first thing to check. I'll bet you've got those switched, because the extra force going in the wrong port will actually force the needle valve to close. That's correct. So why am I not getting heat out of here? Well, now, the air-conditioned page does not have the sourcing information. That's what you need to know. That makes sense. that the lower pressure side of the water pump would be the one furthest away from the impeller. On we go. I've lowered the radiator, disconnected the upper hose, which is the return, disconnected this hose, and now I'm going to see if I get flow through this. I'll just put a hose on here and run some water through, let it splash into the pan. Well, the heater core flow test, no restriction there. Fast as you pour it in, as fast as it runs out. No problem, heater core. Well, I took off the return hose and I checked it, and it had flow. I checked the fitting, and it's free down through here. That's the source hose, and I noticed lots of rust coming off, but the hose was not blocked. So I went over to the heater valve, and that's the inlet. So I put water into the inlet, it didn't go through. So I put a little pressure behind it, it didn't go through. I made sure that the valve is in the hot position, it didn't go through. Oh, that tells me that this valve, even though it wasn't leaking, it's stuck in the closed position, probably because of all this crappy rust that's floating around in here. So I get to change a convertible heater valve, and they are the buggers. Oh boy, oh boy. Nice enough day, so we backed it out. There was a lot of rust, and I wanted to flush it. I think by running it, you do a better job of flushing, getting everything circulated. That's just my splash card. Not running too bad. Looks pretty good after the paint's been buffed. Still a little work to do. I removed the block plugs, but didn't get any significant crap out of it. Flushed it with the radiator flush kit with the block plugs out, but all it does is run out of the block plugs. So you have to put those back in, and then it'll fill up to bubble up, and we're getting nothing out of it. Radiator looks good. It's as flushed as it's going to get. So we're going to be replacing the heater valve. I have to take off the hoses and then do a lot of work before we take off these screws here and push it in. The glove box will have to come out. There are 5 Phillips screws on the underside here. They come out, and then the door releases. It'll have a catch right here, and the door's off. Now I'll get into the glove box. one thing on the glove box is the light up in this corner. We'll have to push that this way because the glove box won't want to come around the body. And the glove boxes being old will likely tear. AC cars will also have this capillary tube that goes in under this cover. Take the cover off, release the tube. That needs to be free when we get to the point. Here's an AC car with the valve still installed. There. See the little tube running under the cover. This is a non-AC car, and you can see the heater valve does not have a capillary tube coming out on this side. Now, there you see I've got that dome light, or the glove box light, pushed forward. 62s have also got this fuse box block with 2 screws up in here that has to be released. Push the lower edge of the box back. I'm talking about this edge right here, because it is trapped under here. So you got to push that back in order to get it up off of the lip. Take this corner and roll it in, get the top down off of its lip, kind of fold it up, and then you can pull it out. And there is our heater valve. See, there's a cable up top, and it runs through that clip. I'm going to have to disconnect that. You see there's that brace up in there, and that's going to give us trouble. With those 2 Phillips removed, now you're getting some freedom of movement, but you've got things on the back side. By the way, look at the junk inside that tube. Back under the dash. So here is that heater valve removed. This piece right here is just a cable clamp. You can get a screwdriver on that, and that will release the cable. Then you just get your finger in there and pull the cable up off of that lever. Now you've got it all free. So it'll be sitting up in there like this. You would think you could just pull it back and down. Well, that brace that I was showing you, you can't do it. In order to get this thing to retract out, you've got to go up like that. Then the body will clear, and then you can drop it down. That's the brace I'm talking about. It just won't give you clearance. Okay, you try to pull this back and clunk. But if you pull it and go upward, there is room up in there. That is an Everhot. This is a Ranco. You know, I had not seen this cable clamp before, but I like it. And the Ranco doesn't have it, which means I gotta get up in there, and after I've got this installed, then I don't think I can do it before, but that's when I got to use the Jesus clip here to secure it. You know what I mean? That clip right there. New valve loosely installed. By the way, this capillary tube, there is a slot in the housing. So it comes out the center on the bottom. And there. You can see that slot where the capillary tube. This is one I took off years ago. Did leaks. I'll be sending it out for rebuild. And with the snap of the fingers, there's that Jesus clip installed. And then you check that the cable moves the valve properly. I'm getting that Jesus clip in there. You can see the access is pretty horrible. I was able to clip the bottom and then take a screwdriver and get the top to roll over the catch. And I need to go to church more often because, boy, there are times when that won't happen for days. Moving on. There you go. New valve installed with the capillary tube routed. The new valves generally have a gasket on the back side of them for weather seal. You can add more if you like. There you go. Heater valve replaced. New heater hoses. New coolant. And it tests to -35. Moving on.